It's Cinema Shogun here, and this may quite possibly be the scariest story I have ever covered on this channel, and that is saying a lot. Because we talk about some really wild things over here. We talk about UFOs, satanic agendas, serial killers, you name it. We cover a little bit of everything on this channel, but this story, at least for me, this story takes the cake. So without further ado, let's go ahead and dive right in. But first, make sure you all hit that thumbs up button down below. It really goes a long way into helping this channel grow. But anyways, where shall I begin? Well, there's this company called Ocean Gate Expeditions, and they specialize in taking tourists in these little submarine tours in the ocean. Sometimes they take you to see coral reefs. Sometimes they take you to see certain ocean life, but they've recently started doing tours to the Titanic, taking tourists to see the Titanic wreckage deep beneath the ocean. Now, last time I checked, tickets were about $250,000 a piece. So if you want to fork up $250K, they will take you in a submarine down to the bottom of the ocean and they will show you the Titanic wreckage. Well, there's one big, huge problem going on right now. They were doing a tour. From what I have seen reported, there were 5 people on board this little small submersible vehicle in the ocean, and now they've lost contact with this sub. This little mini sub with these tourists on board happily sinking to the bottom of the ocean to go see the Titanic has gone missing. And I can't think of anything in this world that is scarier than this. It's scary enough being in a little cramped area. Imagine being in a cramped area under the ocean. Imagine losing connection with the outside world above the water and just being lost down there. It is freaking me out. It's almost like giving me goosebumps just talking about it and imagining myself being in that position, hopelessly in this little tank in the middle of the ocean, and no one knows where to find them. I don't know how long they can last down there. I don't know if they brought food and water. I don't know if they were fully prepared. They were only supposed to go look at this wreckage, and now, Lord knows where this sub is. No one can find it. The Coast Guard is searching for it, and I want to go ahead and run this clip. Maybe they'll provide a little more information for us to clear some things up, and then I'll be right back with more thoughts. And this one gives me the heebie-jeebies.
Breaking news now on that intense search underway in the North Atlantic. We want to update you on that small submersible used to take tourists to the view of the wreck of the Titanic. You know from earlier this hour in our reporting that that vehicle has gone missing. It happened today, just this morning, in the icy waters off the coast of Newfoundland and Labrador, Canada. Ocean Gate Expeditions confirmed in a statement moments ago to the BBC that it owned the missing submersible and people were on board. Well, we might have guessed that part because a tour was going on. Here's a quote. "We are exploring and mobilizing all options to bring the crew back safely. Our entire focus is on the crew members and the sub and their families," end quote. They normally are down there for a few days. Alexis McAdams was the first to report on it for us for the Focus. We are wishing the best for those people on board there. But now that we get to see one really up close, so many questions about what they have on board, how long they can stay down there, how quick a search they can really, put on right now. Are there any headwinds to that search? What are the challenges that far underwater? We'll cover all.
Wait, hold up. They're normally down there for a few days. Did you hear her say that? I didn't know that. I know this expedition, it takes days because you got to meet up with the team. You get on a boat. They drive you out to the area, and then they drop the submarine into the water. But I didn't know that the crew and the people, the tourists, would be down there for days. I mean, when I look at this little sub that they're in, it's really small. I couldn't imagine being in that for a few days with 3 or 4 other people. There's 5 people on board. So people literally get into this vehicle and stay in it for a few days underwater. That's scary in itself. But it's even scarier thinking about how this vehicle went missing. What happened to them down there? What really happened to them? And from my understanding, there's supposed to be some type of emergency protocol on this vehicle that if something goes wrong, it's supposed to immediately rise back to the top of the ocean. I guess they have some type of protocol that if they lose connection or if there's any emergencies, I think inflatables inflate and they're supposed to shoot back up to the top of the ocean, but that has not happened, at least as far as we know, unless they're floating out here somewhere and no one can find them. But I mean, this is just so scary. Thinking about what must be going through your head when you're deep beneath the ocean and you're losing all hope and you're surrounded by other people in this small little area and there's nothing you can do. I'm giving myself anxiety just thinking about it, but one thing that I think we have to ask, one question that I think is really important to ask here is who is on board this submarine? Because when I find out that tickets are $250,000, that lets me know regular people aren't necessarily on this tour. Like people like me and people like you, we don't have $250,000 to be spending on a tourist trip to a submarine that goes and sees the Titanic. We don't have money like that. Even if I had money like that, I wouldn't do this. You know what I mean? So I'm really questioning who was on board. Because even when you think of the Titanic, I know that when you think of the Titanic, you probably think of Leonardo DiCaprio and things of that nature. You think of the movie, but there's a lot of theories behind why the Titanic really sunk. You know what I mean? I don't want to dive into that, but there's a lot of theories behind why the Titanic actually sunk. And let's just say, I'm not so certain that it was just because of an iceberg. But what I will say is this. It appears as if the Titanic, years and years later, is still claiming lives. I am hoping for the best for these people. I am hoping that the submarine is found. This is the most horrific thing that I could possibly imagine going through. But yeah, I am still curious to know who is on board here, because I would imagine that they are probably some rich and powerful people who were on board this submarine to go view the Titanic, just like there were a bunch of rich and powerful people on the Titanic when it sunk. So I find that kind of ironic, and I just want to know what really happened here. But I'm going to follow up on this story. I'll keep looking into it. You can expect more updates here in the near future. So hit that subscribe button and ring that notification bell. Let me know your thoughts about this down in the comments below. And while you're down there, hit that thumbs up button. And I'll talk to you all in the next video.